Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Number one on our agenda is the Zoom meeting notice. Everyone was given a Zoom meeting notice. It's published on our website for anyone to join in. The Zoom meeting guidelines outline that the trustees, when there's roll call, you have to state your name and give your location. And I asked that everyone would mute their microphone until you're called on to speak, so that only one person's speaking at a time and that we can hear the speaker speaking. And that's it for the Zoom guidelines. We're calling the meeting to order. We can do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you please stand if you can for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mrs. Vert?
Present. Flint Township.
Mrs. Pfaff-Dow?
Present, Flint Township.
Mrs. Anderson?
Present, Flint Township.
Ms. Miller?
Here, Grand Blanc Township.
Mrs. Funk? Here, Flint Township. Mr. Klee?
Present, Flint Township.
Ms. Campbell?
Present, Flint Township.
All set? Are there any additions or deletions to this evening's agenda? So I'm going to be pulling action item E. It wasn't brought to the before the board in the appropriate way. This is old business. It's not new business. And to reconsider a motion to reconsider must be made by a person who voted on the prevailing side. That means someone who was on the side that carried or won the motion. This prevents someone on the losing side from bringing up a motion over and over just to annoy. The motion to reconsider should be made at the meeting at which the motion was made and voted on, although some boards allow it at the next meeting. The motion to reconsider can be seconded by anyone and requires a majority to pass. So this motion that's on, or the action item that's on the agenda, has been brought up 4 times. Once on January 4th, and there was a 4-3, it failed. And then it was brought up on January 25th. It failed, 4-3. A motion was made to not fill the vacant clerical position. That passed by a 4-3 vote. And as it stands, that's the motion, not to fill it. And there was even a motion at that meeting to split the wages of the vacant position between the deputy and the clerk. And that also was defeated. So this is not going to be on the agenda tonight. And if there's no objection, I'm going to pull G3, appointment to the Personnel Committee, for another time.
There is objection. According to the Michigan Townships Association Little Red Book, the Township Board decides what its agenda will be for any meeting. The law does not address or require agendas. They are best practice stemming from parliamentary procedure. It is not a statutory duty of any board officer to prepare an agenda. It is not a statutory duty of any board office to prepare it. I'm sorry, I repeated myself. The connection to the supervisors, that they moderate any township board meeting they are attending, but that does not mean the supervisor has statutory control over the agenda. The motion at the last meeting was not to fill the position at this time. At this time, I received a legal opinion on that. That was during the duration of the meeting. And if we don't bring this up, I will be filing a charge of discrimination, because if I was a male department head, then this position would be filled, as it was filled for the police department in the fall, as it was filled when Stuart Worthing brought forth to have an assistant in May of 2019. Based on his busyness And then we approved for him in June of 2020 to have an assistant based on COVID busyness. So if I was male, there would not be a question about this. So
So the motion stands as it was last time. The vote was defeated. The motion was defeated by 4-3. We're not bringing it back. The official minutes do not state at this time. The minutes that were approved at our last meeting state that we're not going to fill it. You can check it. I have it right here. The term "at this time" is not included in the official minutes. We're not going to have this on the agenda tonight, and we're not going to have action item G3 on the agenda. We're going to move forward. Number 7, are there any corrections to the minutes from the last meeting, March 1st, 2021? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, roll call please on the minutes from the regular meeting, March 1st, 2021.
Mrs. Burt,
Yes.
Mrs. Pfaff-Doll,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk. Yes. Ms. Strictly,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
motion carries.
Number 8, public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to address the board, I'd ask that you'd raise your hand or use the tool on your laptop, your iPad, your desktop to raise your hand to see if anyone wants to speak during the meeting. Michelle King, go ahead.
I've lived in the township for 52 years, and I worked for the township for 11 years. I've been a clerk in other municipalities for 17 years. If you do the math, that's 28 years in government. I don't say this to toot my own horn, but just so you know, and those who don't know me, know that I'm coming from a place of knowledge, experience, and immense respect for the democratic process. When I worked for Flint Township, the clerk's office consisted of the clerk, the full-time deputy, a full-time secretary, a full-time election specialist, and a part-time election specialist. I assume that nothing has changed. So this department is still responsible for the same amount of work. And there's a list of work that they do that's over a page long. I've done some research, which only Ms. Campbell appears to have attempted to do before you made the uninformed decision to turn down Mrs. Funk's request to hire an administrative employee. I compared 5 townships with slightly higher population and included the city of Burton, and 5 townships with slightly lower population. I called each one and I asked them for the number of employees in the clerk's office, not including accounting. In the interest of time, I'm not going to tell you who those are, but I will share my comments with Ms. Funk later tonight or tomorrow so that you can all see that I really did do the research. 6 of those municipalities have 3 employees, 3 of them have 4 employees, and 2 of those municipalities have 5 employees. Only one, just Flint Township, only has 2 employees. From this, you can infer that it's unreasonable to expect 2 people to handle all of the clerk's department duties, arguably the most comprehensive duties and diverse of all township offices. And it shows your lack of understanding of and respect for the importance and complexity of the work in the clerk's office. In addition, I asked myself and the township board, what has changed since the time the 2021 fiscal year budget was created and adopted? The 2021 appropriations resolution was adopted by a majority of you on December 20th. And strangely enough, 3 of the 4 of you who voted to adopt the budget voted against filling a budgeted position. I have also watched several meetings over the last months where you've hired new employees. It appears there is a double standard, just like Ms. Funk was talking about, in some departments. To me, this smacks of blatant and flagrant sexism, and you should be ashamed of yourself, especially a board of a majority of women. If you truly want to cut costs and reduce spending, I'm all for it. But make an honest effort across the board. Don't pick and choose in an attempt to make one department head look bad because she's asking for help. You are a board made up mostly of women. and the collective head of one of the 25 largest townships in the state of Michigan. You share in your successes and you share in your failures. Remember Patrick Henry's final speech where he proclaimed, "United we stand and divided we fall." So rather than taunting and criticizing and purposely embarrassing your fellow board member by insinuating that she's weak and overwhelmed and you're doing her a favor by taking away some of her duties, you should be setting her up for success. In closing, Ms. Funk is a well-respected clerk in the county, as am I, and Mrs. Wilkerson, who shared her thoughts with you a few meetings ago. If the three of us and many other clerks around the county, as well as the data that I shared, is suggesting that you right-size the clerk's department in the name of efficient, effective, and high-quality governance by hiring an administrative assistant, you should perhaps give more thought to doing that.
Thank you, Mrs. King. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? I don't see anyone who else wants to address the board, so we'll move on to reports. Under my report, I spoke with Dominic Clemens, our county commissioner, who's heading up the new committee for equality and inclusivity and diversity. And he has agreed to come address our board at our next meeting. And I'd like to see how we can join with them to be a part of that committee as we move forward. I wanted to say that I've heard the comments that were made and things have changed and no one's criticized. I don't know where you got that information. If Ms. Funk shared with you an email that I sent directly to her, you can't consider that be criticizing her publicly except for what you just mentioned. And I wanted to say that as far as our budget's concerned, we have another year of deficit by over $1 million. Our police department used to have 45 employees. We're down to 40 this year. Our fire department used to have 14. We're down to 10. We're budgeted for 10 full-time. Our accounting department used to have 6. We're at 4. And June 1st, when Beth leaves, we'll have 3. Our building department has 50% of the employees that we used to have. The supervisors department has 50% of the employees, and assessing is down a person too. It's all departments that have lost employees. It's not just one department. That's all I'm going to say right now. Madam Clerk, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, I want to say that as far as our absentee applications, we are approaching numbers that we saw in the 2016 presidential election. The clerk at that time, just for your knowledge, had 4 full-time staff, and I'm only asking for 1 additional person here. You, Supervisor Miller, have a full-time person, a part-time person, and you also have someone who runs the sewer and water department for you. And again, I'm going to restate, if I was a male, there would be no question here. Again, there was no question with Stuart Worthing. There was no question if a male department needs to fill a clerical position, the clerical position is filled. There's no talk about, well, I see their employees and they're not busy. That's never said about anyone else. It's only said about my department. You only disparage my department.
I don't
And
think
so-
anyone's disparaged those employees, Kathy.
They have at the board table or during meetings.
No.
It's been stated that I've seen them. They're not busy. It has been stated, Supervisor Miller.
That's a fact. If someone has seen them and they're not working, it's a fact. It's not disparaging.
Well,
them.
I've seen your employees sleep. So that's a fact too.
Are you, have you completed your report, Madam Clerk?
No, I haven't. I also want to bring up the fact that while I'm discussing the fact that I'm treated differently than a male department head, I want to ask you, Supervisor Miller, last year, it was voted on January 21st, 2020, the restriction of conferences and workshops. Last year, I had to bring my conferences forth and only 2 were approved. One, I had won a scholarship for it. It didn't happen. And then it was a 4-3 vote for Angie Tygeson to finish her 3rd year, her very important 3rd year of Clerks Institute, which we had already spent a lot of money on. I would like to know why Stuart Worthing does not have to come before the board and ask to attend conferences. Last year, he attended a conference at Treetops. And it costs close to $1,000. We did not approve that. He just recently put in again to attend a conference. That has not been brought to the board. Why? Why is it that I have to bring it to the board, but Stuart doesn't? Again, disparate treatment.
I think that's because it's to keep his certification and he would fall under, yeah, all right. Anyway, we can talk about this in person. Kathy, are you done with your report?
Yes, I am.
Madam Treasurer, do you have a report this evening?
No.
No? Are there any trustee reports this evening? Trustee Fafdal?
I would like to say that this Friday, we're going to discover Flint Township Bunny Trail is going to be kicking off. We have so far 30 participants that are going to be involved in it, and I'm excited that that many businesses are excited with us. We have 12 bikes with helmets that are going to be given away, 150 baskets. And if anybody is still interested that you know of for businesses that would like to be involved, they can contact Tracy or myself. And we have till Thursday, and we'd like to, they're more than welcome just to come and get involved with us.
Thank you. Are there any other trustee reports? No?
Madam Supervisor,
Yes, trustee
if
Queen.
I may, thank you. Follow up on your comment about the inclusion, and I did have conversation with two of the individuals that are coordinating with us, and they would like to come to our board and make a presentation. The individuals that have put together the packages that are full PD, professional development, statements and documentation from other school districts all over and other departments of inclusion all over the country, and it's some really cool stuff. So when you guys are ready and we can get back together, if we had to do it in a Zoom, they would do it, but they would like to have an opportunity to make a presentation for the inclusion here as well. And as
And
far
where
as
are
in
they
Tracy,
from, Tom?
a lot of our staff members who have been putting time in to be educated for the for inclusion, for the DEI overall program, and they have actually already made one presentation at Michigan State University with that. And we have some people that are it's pretty top notch. Yes, it's pretty top notch.
All right.
And most of the school districts, but most of the school districts are looking at ways to help both the students that attend and the staff members make a smoother opportunity for connectivity and getting along, if you will.
Are there any other trustee reports? Let's see, Deb, and okay, we'll move on to staff reports. Chief Salter, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Thank you. Since March 1st, your police department has responded to over 1,100 calls, which is almost an 82 call per day average. They made over 149 traffic stops, 66 residence checks, and 106 business checks. Also, within the last few weeks, Hoogan Manufacturing donated $5,000 to the police department. They wanted to be used to purchase 2 new radar signs. And so far, actually, we ordered the signs. Hopefully, when they do come in within a month or so, the board will know about it. So I want to say thank you to them for that generous donation that they gave to us. On a sad note, Officer Sean Poole has resigned effective March 5th, and Officer Booth, her last day is tomorrow. I want to wish both of them luck in their future endeavors. They're going to be missed. I'll go on to the fire department. Since the last board meeting, your firefighters have responded to over 35 calls, including 1 kitchen fire, 2 vehicle fires, 1 commercial structure fire at the Knights Inn that they contained to 1 room, which is hard work on their part, 1 structure fire in a 2000 block of Utley Road where nobody's hurt. And they're still working on equipping the new fire engine. Tomorrow, they're going to have some training with all the firefighters, and we hope to have it in service soon. And I have 2 items for the agenda, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Tucker, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yeah, we have a lot of exciting things going on. We had Jersey Mike's had opened their doors last Wednesday. You can go on the YouTube channel, Discover Flint Township, if you'd like to see a little clip of that. We also had Lefty's Cheesesteak opened last week, and we're excited to have them here as well. That's by the Starbucks at Miller and I-75. We also had the radio show this week will be Shea Automotive talking about the ladies that put the she in Shea. So that'll be interesting. And also David Gaines of Gaines Jewelry is going to be the business spotlight for that. So that should be good. And so if anybody wants to hear that, we're on at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday. And if you miss it, I do post the podcast on our YouTube channel, Discover Flint Township. We also have the, as Carol said, the Discover Flint Township Bunny Trail. And Carol has done a ton of work on this, and I want to thank her for that. We do have, like she said, 30 stops along the trail. We've had a lot of interest from the businesses, and the way it's set up encourages people to go to our website. You can find a map of the bunny trail on there, and they can go to all the businesses to register for free prizes for kids 12 and under. And also some of the stops have adult prizes as well. So we have over 165 prizes, including 12 bikes for different age groups. So we're really excited. We think this is a good way to get people to go and see some of our businesses and to interact without it being, 500 people in one spot at one time. So tried to come up with something different that we could deal with the COVID issues. We remind everybody, if you go out, to wear a mask when you go to these places and to sign up their registrations. So that's what we have for right now.
Thank you, Mrs. Tucker.
Thank you.
Staying busy.
Yeah.
So now we'll move on to number 10, payment of bills. Madam Treasurer.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we pay bills in the amount of $3,076.33 and to acknowledge payment of invoices and disbursements in the amount of $4,264,073.92 for a total of $4,267,150.25.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Support by Trustee Vert. Is there any discussion or questions for the treasurer? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call please on the payment of the motion to pay the bills in the amount of $2,684.24.
Mrs. Fatda,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Klee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Number 11, Madam Clerk, are there any correspondence or informational items?
No.
We go on to new business. Action item A, Chief Salter.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. In the board's packet is a request to purchase 4 new Chevrolet Tahoe police vehicles, upfit them, and purchase 2 other Golden Eagle radar units. We've been purchasing Tahoes for many years now. We currently have 4 2015 Tahoes, with 3 of them having over 100,000 miles on them, and the other one having over 93,000, which would be taken out of our fleet. Over 100,000 miles is a lot of miles for a police vehicle. I mean, there's a lot of driving that goes on to it, not counting the engine wear and tear when the engines are always going, it seems like. We've had good luck with our Tahoes. They are proven dependable vehicles. They offer better visibility of the surroundings for officers. In addition, they offer proven protection for officers if they are involved in a crash. I know 2 different times where officers have crashes where the vehicle has been totaled, but the officer is okay. And lastly, if we do auction them off, we get a better return. The last Tahoe that we sent to auction, we received over $10,000 for it. The vehicle price is through the Genesee County bid process. Even though Berger is not a local dealer, they provided the best price at $38,897 per vehicle. This year, I'm proposing we use Procom Incorporated to outfit our new vehicles. They provided a price of $29,548 to outfit all 4 vehicles. That's over $10,000 cheaper than the company that we had been using in the past. Plus, they're actually located in the Flint Township. And lastly, I'm requesting we purchase 2 Golden Eagle 2 radar units from Custom Singles for $1,710 per unit for a total of $3,420.
Is there a motion for the recommendation by
move.
Chief Salter?
Clee would move to accept Chief Salter's recommendations with all of the paperwork included.
Is there a
Funk
second to the
seconds.
motion?
Funk second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Any questions?
Yes, I'd like to say that at the last meeting I asked Chief if we could postpone this, and one of my first things that jumped out at me, and he addressed it to me personally, and he addressed it again tonight. It was the purchase of vehicles outside of our area, and I was just curious why we were at Grand Rapids, but after him explaining to me that this group is buying a lot of vehicles, committed to purchasing and then distributing them throughout the state, that was one piece that was came very much back into that. And then Chief also was helpful in defining and clarifying for me. So I just want to say thank you, Chief, for allowing me to have that special time meeting with you, and we went over that. And I look forward to seeing the safety of these vehicles put into the officers' hands. Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions?
I just have one question for Chief Salter. One of
Yes,
the accidents that involved a Tahoe where it was totaled, wasn't the canine in there also, and he wasn't badly injured because of the safety of the Tahoe?
I know he's been involved in a few accidents, and he's been okay or the few times that he has been, but yeah, he was in a bad accident at one point, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
and those have all been Tahoes.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion or questions?
My comment is I had talked to Chief Salter also and asked if we could use a Flint Township dealership, and he explained to me too, and I found out from a few other people, other townships, Rapid seems to do the best pricing for all of us. So when he said that, I was okay.
Thank you. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the recommendation of Chief Salter to purchase the 4 Chevy Tahoes through the state bid process, and to outfit it with from Procom, and also is it 2 radars or 4?
Yes, ma'am.
2. Alrighty. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion.
We need the total so we can add that into the minutes.
It's 4 vehicles from Berger for $155,000.
55,588.
Correct.
$29,548 to outfit them, and $3,420 for the radar.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want me to add that up real quick?
That should be 188, right around 188.
I had the whole number. Dang it. What'd I do with it?
188,556, 556. Even. Roll
Mrs.
call, please.
Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Clee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Pfaff-Dow, Mrs. Pfaff-Dow,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Action item B, Chief Salter.
Yes, ma'am. In the board's packet is a request to hire Andre Rodriguez as a full-time firefighter for our township. This is an open position in the 2021 budget. Andre has served the residents of Buena Vista Township as a firefighter for the last 8 years. Prior to that, he was a part-time firefighter for Saginaw Township. He is a graduate of Saginaw Heritage High School in 2003 and Saginaw Fire Academy in 2004. A complete background investigation was completed, and a physical and psychological interview was completed. And with the board's approval, I would like Mr. Rodriguez to start his employment with us on Monday, April 12th, 2021.
A motion
Clea
would be
would-
in order to move forward.
Clea would move that we accept Chief Salter's recommendation of hiring firefighter to be with the township, Andre Rodriguez, and with the employment opportunity effective, and I just lost it, sorry.
April 12th?
March, oh, excuse me, April 12th, yes. Thank you.
Is there a second to the motion?
Campbell, second.
Are there any questions for Chief Salter on this issue? Any discussion?
I just have something I want to say.
Go right
That's
ahead.
all right. One is I'm still concerned about the budget. And we still don't have a fire chief. So if we hire the 10 we're budgeted for, we still don't have a chief, and the chief could come from the outside. We don't know where that person's going to come from, and that the chief may not come from in the inside. So I am going to, as much as I support safety, I will be voting no.
So Chief Salter, can I pick your brain here? We are budgeted for 10 firefighters this year. We've had, since I've been here, as many as 14, but we're down to 10. And we have 3 stations. It takes 3 firefighters to man a station. And right now we have 9 firefighters, and then you make number 10. Is that correct?
Correct.
As administrator. So you are interim fire chief, according to civil service, for a period of 3 months. Well, it was actually 4 months to get us to the end of last year. And then the attorney recommended that we stay the course doing what we're doing until we can work with civil service to get them to follow, to hire the fire chief, as Barb's talking about, through the civil service testing, which at the last civil service meeting, it was discussed that testing will occur in the fall when there's more firefighters who meet the qualifications as far as experience. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
So as we speak today, we have 10 firefighters. You're requesting that we hire 1 more. That would give us 10 firefighters and you, but you were stepping back right the day before we hired the new firefighters. So we'll continue to only have 10 firefighters. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So there is a plan to get a chief in place, right?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
There's a need, actually, there's a need for more firefighters, but we don't have the money in the budget to fully man the 3 stations with a fire chief and a fire assistant chief would be 13. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And all right. I hope that answers some questions for people as far as plan to move forward. So the day that this man, if this approves, Andre Rodriguez, if he starts on August 12th, you will no longer continue to be the interim fire chief on August, or I said August, I meant April 11th, correct?
Correct.
All right. So if there's no more questions and no further discussion, I don't see anybody. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the hiring of full-time firefighter Andre Rodriguez to be start effective April 12th.
Both.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Feinkast, Mr. Klee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
No,
Mrs. Pfaff-Dow,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you.
board.
Action. What'd you say?
Oh, I said thank you, board.
Yeah, very good. Action item C, Mrs. Tucker.
So this is the trail project that is running from our park at the police station to connect with the Elms Road Park in Swartz Creek. This is a multi-jurisdictional project. that is receiving grant dollars. This is something that the supervisor had been working on with the city of Swartz Creek to get done. And it is within the DDA district. So she asked, she had us consider the DDA paying the township portion. And so we took that to the DDA this past month, and they approved amending their budget to include the project. But as you all know, the process for amending the DDA budget is a 3-step process. We have to create a draft at the DDA, which is what this is. Then we have to bring that to the township board to approve. And then it will, if you approve it, then it will go back to the DDA for adoption. So that is what this is. This has been approved by the DDA to include this project as part of their budget for the year 2021. And so they're just looking for your approval so that they can adopt it at their April meeting.
So a motion is in order to move forward to amend the infrastructure budget to include the trail project for the DDA budget. Anybody?
So moved. Anderson moves.
Is there a second to the motion?
Dahl supports.
And this is just in the budget. That doesn't mean we're spending the dollars yet. It will go back to the DDA for a vote when it's ready. Any further discussion for Mrs. Tucker? Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the amendment to the infrastructure budget to include the trail project in the DDA budget.
Mrs. Funk? Yes. Mr. Klee?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Vert?
Yes.
Mrs. Pfaff-Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Action item D,
Thank you.
Mrs. Tucker, if you will.
This is an amendment to the contract with the county for our stormwater treatment. It's the industrial discharge permit process. They charge each community in the county to process these. It's part of our MS4 permit, which is our stormwater discharge permit with the state. And this is just an amendment that we can pay quarterly, or we can pay in a lump sum. And I think, Karen, did you have this as a lump sum or?
No, we pay quarterly.
Okay, that's what I thought. So this is presented as the quarterly. So what we're looking for at this point is for approval of the board to allow the supervisor to sign on to this amendment is basically what the resolution is. The resolution says that you're agreeing to the amendment and that you're allowing the supervisor to discharge the signature and therefore move forward with the amendment.
So a motion would be in order to move forward?
Clea would move that we move forward with the
resolution.
the stormwater management resolution presented by Madam Tucker.
Is there a second to the motion, please?
Campbell support.
Any further questions? It's not exactly as if we can vote no anyway, but.
Right, it is state mandated, so.
Right,
Madam
right.
Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Klee?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Vert?
Yes.
Mrs. Pfaff-Dahl?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes.
Action item F is a 2021 dust control program. You have the contract in front of you from the road commission. The first application for calcium chloride is usually Memorial Day weekend. They say April, May, but it's usually by Memorial Day weekend. The second application comes around July, and the third is around Labor Day. And we've done 3 applications in the past. We didn't budget for 3 applications this year. We would be responsible to pay 50%. And the second application is paid for by the road commission. And in the past, a couple of times we tried in cooperation with Clayton Township to do a brine application, which doesn't cost as much as the calcium chloride. And other townships are trying that too. So you have the information in front of you. The first application is $13,860 and the second one's free. And I'll get an estimate on brine, but it doesn't come from the road commission. They don't do that. So a motion would be in order to move forward on this contract.
Contracts that Karen was just talking about.
Anderson
moved it.
supports.
Who
Missed that.
made the
Carol
motion?
motion. Carol
I'll make the
did.
motion and Lisa.
Alrighty. Any further questions or discussion? And since there isn't any, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Pfaff-Dow,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Klee,
Yes.
That passes. Action item G is board committee appointments. We are looking to appoint someone to the fire retirement board. And I'm recommending that we appoint John Ringwalski. He is a retired firefighter and has an interest in the success of what happens with that fire retirement fund. So a motion would be in order to appoint him.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Anderson supports.
Clee would support.
We got a
Sorry, Miss Anderson.
supports.
Sorry, Miss
Um,
Anderson, go ahead.
No problem.
Any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call please on appointing John Ringwalski to a 2-year term on the Fire Retirement Board.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
Mrs. Pfaff-Dow,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes. Mr. Klee,
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Number 2 is reappointing the members, the 9 members on the road advisory. And you have the names before you. I see we have John Whiteside with us. He's our secretary and he's done a great job since he's been secretary, I think the whole time. Is that right, John? So we have John Whiteside, John Lawrence, Jim Rouse, Wayne Neerman, Oscar Hare, Janine Libka, Frank Castle, Jean Leverett, and me. So the road millage fund, or I'm sorry, the road millage, it expires 12/31 of 2024. So I'm asking the board to reappoint these members until the end of the road millage. And if it gets reappointed, we'll come back and reappoint them at that point. So a motion is in order to move forward to appoint them to the, is it 4 years till the end of the road millage?
Anderson moves
Clee
that
would-
we.
Sorry, Lisa, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Nope, go.
You have the
Please-
motion, Lisa? Do you want to support it, Tom?
Sure. Yes, ma'am. That's
Alrighty.
fine.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call please on appointing the road advisory committee with those that were listed for a 4-year term to expire at the end of the road millage fund.
Mrs. Fafdal,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes, Mr. Klee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
Yes.
motion carries.
We're at announcements, number 13. Our next meeting will be April 5th.
Chair,
Yes.
I'm sorry. When I presented the bills to be paid, I know those numbers weren't sounding right to me. I think I pulled the wrong resolution. I pulled a resolution from February. So I'd like to remove, how do I do that? I'd like to,
I was gonna ask you, I was looking at it. Yeah,
You can just reconsider the motion and amend it.
You want to make, you want to amend the motion. So you want to make, to reconsider it? So who's going to make the motion? I think everyone voted yes. Go ahead and make the motion, Lisa.
I'd like, oh, go ahead, Clee.
Clee would move that we reconsider the motion that was put forth on the request to pay the bills by Madam Treasurer and let it be corrected to the amount that she is going to submit. Is that all right?
Anderson supports.
Do you have the current amount right there?
I do. So I'd like to make a motion to pay bills in the amount of $2,684.24 and acknowledge payment of disbursements in $540,465.31 for a total of $543,149.55.
When I repeated the motion, that's the exact amount that I gave. Is that right, Kathy? $2,684.24. Is that the accurate amount, Lisa?
That is.
So let's just make sure we get it right. We got a motion and a support. If there's no further discussion, Madam Clerk, roll call please on the corrected amount, the reconsider motion.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Funk, yes, Mr. Klee,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Vert,
yes.
Mrs. Fafdal,
Yes.
motion carries. I would like to mention something real quick here, please. Mrs. Miller, you have your husband there. He coaches you. You turn to him for advice. I want to make an objection to that. It's happened more than just this meeting. I don't think it's fair. I'm sitting in a room by myself. I don't think it's fair to any of the other trustees. And I want the record to reflect that I object to you seeking out opinions like that. It's been a continual problem. I'm not the only one who's noticed it. I've actually had residents contact me and ask who you are talking to and over at the side before you make a decision.
Thank you, Mrs. Funk. Are you done?
Yes, I am.
So our next meeting is April 5th. I talked to our attorney, Peter Goodstein, to ask about electronic meetings, and they are going to be discontinued unless the governor changes her decision. And we shall meet in person at our next meeting, April 5th. I've asked Peter to help us with how we comply with 6 feet distance if we were to have a room full of people, and what that would look like as far as how we limit the number of people if we continue with the Zoom meeting, or if more information is to follow, but our next meeting will be in person, April 5th. And there are 2 exceptions to the ruling from the governor. One is if you're in active military and you're on duty, you can participate by Zoom. And the other is if you are physically not well and you have a doctor's note. So you can attend the meeting by Zoom that way also. But so plan on our next meeting, April 5th, to be in person and with more information to follow. And if there's no further business and without objection, we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.